Coming up on OU Nightly, we're tracking a chance for showers here on campus.
Disturbing text messages targeting black students on college campuses nationwide. What the FBI is saying tonight. And petition signatures forcing a public vote on Norman's new arena. Information about when you can cast your ballot. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Savannah Simmons.
And I'm Olivia Hayes. We begin tonight with heavy rains hitting Norman and more on the way. OU Nightly meteorologist Alexa Dringas has more on what we can expect. Alexa?
Yeah, Olivia, we're currently tracking our second round of showers and storms here across the Oklahoma City metro. And we're also taking a look at Tulsa, where a flash flood warning was just issued. So we're mainly going to be focusing here on the metro, however, because over the next 3 hours, we're going to see a decent bit of rainfall. We've already seen nearly an inch here in Norman, and these inches are increasing by the hour. And coming up, I'm going to be telling you how much rain we're going to see, your game day forecast, and the chance for a slight warm up. The FBI is investigating tonight after reports of racist anonymous text messages were sent to people of color across the country, including Oklahoma. OU Nightly's Kennedy Patterson is live from the newsroom with information on the federal and local investigations.
Savannah, tonight the Oklahoman is reporting the FBI says 2 incidents of these anonymous text messages have been received here in Oklahoma, in Tulsa and in Edmond. Investigators say the messages have been sent in up to 20 states, with disturbing messages like slave catchers will be arriving in vans to pick people up. Others like these we obtained from students at Kent State University in Ohio stated recipients of the message were selected to pick cotton. I was able to talk to the FBI office in Oklahoma City, and they gave me this statement. The FBI is aware of the offensive and racist text messages sent to individuals around the country. As always, we encourage the public to report threats of physical violence to local law enforcement. I reached out to law enforcement in Norman, including OUPD, to see if there are any reports locally, and did not receive any response by the start of this newscast. We'll keep you updated as the investigation continues. In the newsroom, Kennedy Patterson, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Kennedy. As the final polls start to roll in from Tuesday night, Americans are now looking at the significance of the historic Trump win and how we got there. Gaylord News' Victoria Anderson breaks it down for us.
Well, it's over. The historic race for that historic house has come to a historic end. And though we've heard the word history thrown around so much this election cycle, now we're living in it. So, what does that mean?
For modern Americans, the words unprecedented, historical, and first are losing meaning.
Having this other term sandwiched between his various runs for president.
And this is the first time we've ever elected a convicted felon.
This new chapter of history casts Donald Trump as the second American president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, but the first to do so with a mugshot. And while some voters are shocked, analysts see it as a poll prophecy come to pass.
I had a professor 30 years ago who said, I think that the next revolution is going to be the non-college educated.
The diploma divide is the key term for this chapter. Polls show voters without a college degree turned the page for a Trump sequel. But what is Oklahoma's role in this chapter?
The Christian nationalism is very popular in Oklahoma, and so Christian nationalism has gotten more strength, gotten more breadth.
The red state rode hard for Trump's conservative calls Tuesday night, giving most Oklahomans an easy choice when casting their role in history.
Between a prosecutor and a felon, we made our choice.
Yeah, we made our choice.
Reporting in Washington, D.C., Victoria Anderson, Gaylord News.
Thanks, Victoria. The city clerk has certified more than 10,000 signatures to force the Rock Creek Entertainment District to vote. That, according to the group Oklahomans for Responsible Economic Development. This comes nearly 3 weeks after the initial signatures were gathered. If the petition is accepted, the vote for the district will take place on February 11th.
And America has its new president, but some states are still waiting on results in races for their own representatives.
Details on which states coming up.
And an attack late last night in Amsterdam being deemed anti-Semitic.
Stick around for details in the investigation up next.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Big changes are headed for the White House as U.S. history is being made. Emma McAndrews has the details in today's national and international headlines from the News Center. Emma.
President-elect Donald Trump making history just days after being elected, naming the first woman to serve as White House Chief of Staff position. He's appointed campaign manager Susie Wiles, an experienced Republican strategist and lobbyist. Trump says in the position she'll make the country proud, also crediting her with helping him win the re-election. And the results for U.S. House are still delayed a bit as different states finish their ballot counts. Right now, House Republicans are leading the race with a slim majority standing at 213, while House Democrats trail at 202. California, Colorado, and Maine are all key race states that still await a projected winner. The first party to hit 218 seats will have control of the House. And the Dutch government is condemning what is called an anti-Semitic attacks on Israeli citizens. Israeli soccer fans were beaten and injured in violent clashes in Amsterdam, sending at least 5 people to the hospital. The city's mayor says criminals on scooters were involved in the hit-and-run incidents. Dutch police say they are investigating. And in California, wildfires have destroyed more than 130 homes, sending at least 10 people to the hospital. Firefighters say they are still struggling to control those fires. Savannah, Olivia.
Thank you, Emma. A local shelter is asking for donations this holiday season.
How you can help those in need right here in the community when we return.
Continue to track the showers and storms we're seeing here across the state.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and to support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here's a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
If you were up at 6 a.m. like I was this morning, you definitely heard a rumble or two of thunder associated with those showers and storms we saw earlier this morning. However, we are currently tracking a second line of showers and storms here across the Oklahoma City metro. Just an hour ago, some of these storms were warned. However, they have dissipated over the last hour. And if we zoom in on those of us here in Norman, we can see we're just sitting in those outer bands of rain. So not too strong of rainfall that we're seeing. However, just to our west is where they're seeing those stronger bands of rain sitting in those yellow and red areas. Taking a look at those of us here in Norman, we can see our campus cam. We can definitely see that those roads are slick and there is some rainwater on our campus cam, and that's being blown in from the stronger winds that we're seeing. We're currently sitting at temperatures around 63 degrees with 100% humidity, so it's definitely moist outside for those of us here. And those winds have strengthened over the last hour, but something I want to mention about these winds, we can see that there's some relatively strong wind gusts in this area, but something I wanted to note too, this area extending right across here of winds, that's actually where our storm system is located. And if you take a look just to our west over here, we can see this counterclockwise rotation, and that's actually the winds going around the low pressure system associated with this storm. Luckily for those of us here in Norman, those showers are only going to expect to stick around for the next few hours. However, they are expected to bring 1/3 to a 1/2 inch of rain per hour. So we may be seeing nearly 2 inches of rain here across the state over the next 3 hours. However, those showers and storms are going to start to push their way northeastward as we head just after dinner time, and those showers and storms are going to continue to push to the northeast. However, if some of you are traveling to Columbia for the game tomorrow, you definitely are going to experience some of that heavy rainfall and potentially some flooding on those roads. And again, like I said, there's that low pressure system that we identified on those wind gusts, and it's essentially just driving those storms to the northeast and, like I said, pushing into the Missouri area. And like I said, on your commute, you're really going to be impacted by those rainstorms, especially since it's going to be nighttime and you're not going to really be able to see where those roads are slick. However, as we head into the rest of Saturday into Sunday, for those of you attending the game, you won't really expect to see showers, maybe some around tailgating, but for the game, you should be in the clear. And we're also going to see some warmer and dry conditions as we head into the next few days after that system moves out. However, tonight here, we're going to drop into the 40s, 45 here in Norman. And again, like I said, those showers are going to last just until about after dinner time. And going into our game day, however, for Columbia, we're going to see, like I said, there may be some rain around tailgating time. However, as we make our way to kickoff, those rain showers are going to push out of the way. And then, like I said, halftime, those temperatures are going to remain pretty consistent in the upper 50s, but still be sure to pack a jacket because it's going to be dark and cold. Heading into the rest of our week's forecast, we're going to see that warm up over the weekend, like I said, and then there's a chance for a cold front again on Wednesday, which is going to decrease our temperatures just a little bit.
Well, Alexa, I'm actually heading down to Columbia for that game right after this. What can I expect to see on my drive?
Yeah, there's going to be the potential for some flooding on roads because Tulsa's currently seeing heavy rain and they're under a flash flood warning at the moment. And then they're going to see that second band coming in from the Norman area. So just be sure to be mindful of the roads, and it's going to be nighttime, so just be mindful.
Definitely. I'm going to have to be careful. Thank you so much. And Norman's Food and Shelter is asking for donations to keep people warm as temperatures drop. The organization says gloves, socks, coats, blankets, and scarves are all in high demand.
Donation drop-offs are weekdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Food and Shelter tells OU Nightly they closely monitor the weather and will also open night shelters if it becomes near freezing.
After a win over Maine, the Sooners travel to Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers.
Our sports team is live from Columbia with all the latest on OU football. Stay with us for all the details next in Big Friday Sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Hello, I'm Darby McCormick. This is Allie McPherson, and it's Big Friday Sports.
The Sooners are meeting up with an old conference foe in Missouri tomorrow. OU Nightly reporters Kaylee Jo Hummel and Abby Williams are there to preview the game with the Tigers.
Hello from Columbia, Missouri. I'm Kaylee Jo Hummel.
And I'm Abby Williams. We come to you live from the University of Missouri,
where tomorrow OU and Mizzou are going to face off for the first time in 13 years.
And some breaking news coming out of Norman. Receivers Deion Burks and Jaleel Farouk are expected to be back for the Sooners Saturday, but Javonte Barnes, who had a career game against Maine, is expected to be out.
Yes, and that game against Maine, that win was really important heading into this week. A boost of confidence and for bowl eligibility, and head coach Brent Venables is confident that the Sooners' hard work is going to really start to pay off.
That's a real thing to create some momentum here down the last stretch of the season, continue to create buy-in. This is a team that's worked incredibly hard. We haven't always coached great or played great this season. We've had to overcome a lot. I do believe it's going to pay great dividends.
Now, Mizzou's quarterback Brady Cook has been listed as doubtful on the latest SEC injury report, making backup Drew Pine the likely starter going into Saturday. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, Jackson Arnold heads into this game looking to get his first win as a starter. Road win.
I kind of like road games, honestly. It's a different environment. Like I said earlier, it kind of gives you an edge, going into somebody else's place and potentially taking them down. It's a great feeling. We went down to Auburn and won there. I mean, it's great to go down to somebody else's house and win. So I think for us is, not being, I guess, overwhelmed by the environment, but kind of embracing it and using it to our advantage.
Now, win or lose for the Sooners, it's the pride of Oklahoma that's there every game to cheer them on. I talked to one Pride of Oklahoma member who is turning heads and twirling batons. Take a look.
She's new to Oklahoma, but she's been twirling that baton for years. This season, Samantha Rose Rizzo took on one of the most important roles in the Pride, and she's only a freshman.
There's a lot that goes into it. I spend probably 5 hours a day practicing on a daily, and it's just been years of training, and a lot of people don't seem to understand that.
You'd think when performing in front of thousands of people, you'd have a very calculated routine, right?
One softball game I performed at was actually all freestyled because I wasn't exactly sure what they were looking for from me, so I was just like, I'm going to look for the best and just do it.
Rizzo comes all the way from New York, where football games looked a little different.
In high school, we didn't have a marching band, so I just kind of picked a random song, and on Friday Night Lights, I just went out on the field by myself and performed, and it was a wonderful experience because the whole town just appreciated that I was able to do that. It was really exciting and a great opportunity, and I think without that opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to make it here.
And now that she has the Pride on the field with her, She says she loves having 300 of her closest friends there to encourage her.
The Pride is like a built-in support system for me. Like, I didn't think I would have made it this far into the school year without them. Whenever I have a bad day, everyone's here just to cheer you up. And it's not just me, they do this for everyone as well. Everyone's been so kind, and there's not a single bad thing I can say about this university. I love it here.
Now, Sammy won't be on the field this weekend, but you can catch her back on Owen Field when OU hosts Alabama. Reporting live from Columbia, Missouri, I'm Abby Williams.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. Be sure to watch Game Day U live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. where we're going to continue our coverage. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Kaylee, Joe, and Abby. There are 5 SEC matchups this Saturday, 2 being face-offs featuring top 20 teams. We'll start first with Alabama as they head down to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. And Ole Miss is trying to keep their college football playoff chances alive when they play the Georgia Bulldogs at home. And coming off a bye week, the Longhorns are going to have to keep their head above water when the Florida Gators come chomping into town.
Well, the Baltimore Ravens clinched a 1-point win against the Cincinnati Bengals last night, and you're lucky if you had wide receiver Jamar Chase on your fantasy football team because he had a whopping 11 receptions for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chase's performance wasn't enough for the Bengals, though, because former Sooner tight end, Mark Andrews gave Baltimore the lead with this touchdown, finishing with 6 receptions for 68 yards. Cincinnati went for the 2-point conversion to win, but sadly lost 35-34.
Well, Oklahoma's high school football playoffs are around the corner, and a funky ending to 2 teams' regular seasons happened last night. Andrew, what happened?
Yeah, buddy, welcome back to Airing It Out with Andrew, and boy, do we have an interesting one for y'all today as we head up to Edmond North to see the Huskies take on the Jenks Trojans. And how about this former Sooner son, Caden Jones, makes it all about him early with a nice gain before showing what kind of DNA he's really got. Busting through the middle of the defense as he's just going to stroll into the end zone. And unfortunately, all Mother Nature wrote for us that game because it was raining the entire time. Jenks gets the win 21-0. And while we were up to our knees in rain, some OU commits get ready for playoff season as Trinae Washington, Trishan Haynes, and Marcus James lead the Carl Albert Titans to a 52-7 victory over the Altus Bulldogs. Some other Sooners hitting the field tonight include defensive end commit CJ Nixon and the Weatherford Eagles as they head to Bridge Creek, while wide receiver commit Elijah Thomas leads the Shakota Fighting Carrie Underwoods against the Eufaula Ironheads. Darby, Hallie.
Thanks, Andrew. This week, both Diamond sports teams wrap up fall play. Hear from both coaches coming up.
Plus, current and former Sooners hit the basketball court. We'll have all the details on who's winning and who's losing next.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Women's basketball continues its season tonight when they take on Virginia at the LNC at 8 p.m. The 10th-ranked Sooners will face off one of the most
experienced ACC rosters in Virginia, who opened this season up with a 36-point win over American. Watch out for OU transfer Reagan Beers, who's 26 points away from 1,000 career points. And Reagan says she's really liking her new head coach.
The way that Jenny coaches and the passion that she coaches with, that she just gets on you and wants to be the best, wants you to be the best version, not just on the court, but off the court. And as a person, is just super inspiring, and you can see that in all the girls and how she just pours into everybody and what that has done to this whole team and how that has made us better. And that's what really stood out and really encouraged me to come here.
Keeping it in the Lloyd Noble Center, OU men's basketball enters their second game next Monday against Northwestern State. The Sooners blew out Lindenwood in their season opener on Monday, making them 1-0 on the season. While welcoming in 10 new players onto their roster, head coach Porter Moser has a vision for the future of the program and the transfer portal.
What retention does for you is the new guys come in the program, and when you can especially have more than 2. My ideal, my vision of where Oklahoma basketball is going to get is that there's like 8 or 9 coming back. And those 8 or 9 are telling the new guys, this is how we do things. This is how hard we go. This is our standards.
And after a takedown of the New York Knicks, the Hawks and former Sooner Trae Young will take on the Pistons in Detroit tonight. Austin Reeves and the Lakers play the 76ers tonight, where they lead that overall series by only 3 games. Let's see if they can lengthen that series lead. And Bahama Buddy Hield and the Warriors take on the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers tonight at 6:30 Central.
OU baseball closed out their Fall Ball World Series scrimmages on Wednesday. In the finale, Easton Carmichael clinched the win with a walk-off solo slam, leading to a Crimson Team Series win. Head coach Skip Johnson says baseball is baseball, no matter the conference.
I think it's no different. I mean, baseball's 60 foot 6 inches on the mound, and it's 90 foot bases. I mean, it's not any different. You're going to practice the same way we practice. I mean, it's not all of a sudden you go from one league to the next league and you got to change things that you do. I think the biggest thing that we've got to do is continue to get better and understand how to play good catch, and the fundamentals is what we've got to continue to grow in.
Well, the 4-peat Natty Champs have wrapped up their fall ball slate in true champion fashion in front of a major crowd. The fans that attended the games at Love Field set a new program record for over 6,400 attendees. Patty Gasso loved watching the fans react to the team's fresh faces.
Our freshmen and our newcomers have not played in front of a crowd bigger than 500. So when this crowd showed up this last Friday, they were just in awe. So it was good to get them to feel, and they kept saying, it's so loud, like this isn't even half.
OU volleyball just stepped off the court at Ole Miss, and the Sooners will leave town with a win in a tight 5 sets. Outside hitter Alexis Shelton sealed the victory with a kill, while also leading her team with 23.5 points.
Well, thank you for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Darby McCormick.
And I'm Hallie McPherson. Have a fun and safe weekend.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets